I'm here. I'm here, Diamond. You hear me? This Felicia. I can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. When they start.
All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Is courtroom 2 on the line? All right. And everyone is able to hear me. Good afternoon. This is the state. Good afternoon, Ms. Richwater. This is the state expedited accusations calendar. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused by the Solicitor General and bound over to state court. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. This is the State Court of Fulton County, and today is January the 25th of 2023. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding. When I ask you if you understand your rights, that's what I'm referring to. All participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It is also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. If I am not speaking with you, please, all witnesses or people who are here to make statements, please keep your cameras muted as it will only slow us down. All right, who do we have first at courtroom 2?
Good afternoon, Judge Williams. This is going to be position 15, Ms. Wilson.
All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Wilson. Your case is 23 CR 00005088A. You're charged with battery, family violence in this case. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah.
All right. This is her first arrest, so we'll go straight to the state. Is this your case, Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
Okay, this incident occurred on January 24th on 1040 Huff Road. Officers responded to this location and spoke with both Wilson and Mr. Vaughn, who's the victim in the case. Wilson stated that her and her boyfriend, Vaughn, got into a physical altercation, and then Wilson hit Vaughn multiple times in the head, causing a bruise as well as a scratch that bled on the right side of his face. Because this is the first arrest and the victim also was arrested because of this incident, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And you said the defendant was also, the victim was also arrested. Does he appear on this calendar today, or did he go to felony this morning?
I don't
No.
believe he's on this calendar today.
It's not.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes,
Ms.
Your
Kim,
Honor,
is your case?
I can
Please
explain.
proceed.
Oh, yes, I can explain what happened. He was drunken, Your Honor, and he was having high blood pressure. So he was taken into Grady first for medical reason. So he just got to the jail this morning. Your Honor, my client was basically victim here. It was Mr. Kamian Vagan who was drunken, caused all this drama. He called the police and he was not sure what he was doing. My client is 29 years old and she moved from Maryland to stay with complaining witness, Ms. Vaughn. They were engaged, and yet I think this will kind of give different direction to their relationships. My client has been laid off on November 2022, so she's driving as an Uber driver, and she has one child who is 12 years old right now. The 12 years old girl is actually under police custody because both Wilson and Vaughn are all arrested and there's nobody else who can take care of her. So I would like to request my client to be released today with a signature on bond so she can take care of her body. Right now, she's 10 weeks pregnant. She really, really needs to rest and take care of her body and also her minor child. She graduated from high school, and Your Honor, she's qualified for public defender service, so we will be continuously representing her. Thank you.
All right, defendant or receive a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She is to have no contact with the cross defendant or alleged victim in this case and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Your Honor, I was wondering if she is allowed to return home. They live together.
Who is is they're both on the lease?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's a difficult one. And it's unclear what's going to happen to the defendants at this time.
Miss Wilson is actually planning to find her own place. So it will be a few weeks that she will be at that location and then she's going to be moving out. She's scared of him.
Okay, well, what we'll say is she can return there so long as he's not there.
Mhm.
If he's there, she is to stay away.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Miss Wilson. Who do we have next?
Position 9, Galloway. You're done.
All right. Good afternoon, Miss Galloway. Your case. Oh, I did not write. This was the added case, correct? Hold 1 second. Let me get Miss Galloway's case number. All right, Miss Galloway, your case number is 23 CR 0005001C. You're charged with following too closely and driving hit and run, duty for a driver to stop at the scene of an accident with the offense date of January the 12th. Do you understand your rights? All right. Ms. Howard, can I have her history?
It's a third arrest. She was arrested on the 24th of this month for a freight. Well, it says Rockdale County. That was yesterday. And- Okay. 2019 misdemeanor possession of marijuana dismissed.
Okay. Thank you. Whose case? Oh, Mr. Rogers, please proceed.
The facts are on January the 12th of 2023, while patrolling the area of Senoia Road and Oakley Industrial Boulevard in Fairborn, Georgia, officers noticed a gray Toyota Camry and a white tractor trailer sitting in the lane blocking traffic. He made contact with the driver of the Toyota Camry. Her name is Raya McNeil. Ms. McNeil stated that she was sitting at the red light waiting for it to turn green. As she waited, she felt an impact from the rear. Ms. McNeil exited her vehicle and found that another vehicle was touching the rear of her vehicle. At that time, Ms. McNeil began recording with her cell phone. The driver of the other vehicle, later identified as Deja Galloway, she was a Black female with shoulder-length red hair. Ms. Galloway told Ms. McNeil that the tractor trailer had hit her from the rear and pushed her into the vehicle. There was no physical evidence that to support that claim. Ms. McNeil said Ms. Galloway was on the phone with someone and she believes someone said something about a warrant, and Ms. Galloway then got into her vehicle and left the scene. Ms. McNeil was able to capture on video the tag number for Ms. Galloway's vehicle, and the officer ran it through GCIC and did find that Ms. Galloway had an active warrant out of Rockdale County. The state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, $1,500 for the hit and run, $500 for the following too closely, and no drugs, alcohols, or weapons while out on bail. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Deja Galloway is 20 years old, and she graduated from high school 2020, and she is currently a full-time student at a school near Kennesaw, Georgia. She is studying to be a dental hygienist. She already has a license for phlebotomy, and she makes income from babysitting and dog sitting and doing DoorDash. So she does not have a lot of income, Your Honor, as a full-time student. We would like to request for signature on bond since there was no such a case in the past. Even though there is an open case pending, she already took care of that part. That one is already taken care of, and my client does need to be actually released so that way she can go back to school. Thank you.
Okay, defendant's gonna receive a $2,000 split bond. It'll be $1,500 surety on the hit and run and $500 signature through the jail for the following too closely. And moreover, she's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. I'm sorry, Ms. Bridgewater,
Yes,
what is my SAP reset date?
it's going to be February the 7th.
All right, so again, it'll be a $500 signature through the jail for the following too closely and $1,500 surety for the hit and run. And she'll be reset to the SAP calendar on February the 7th, whereby bond can be revisited at that time. Is there anything further?
Nothing from dispense.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Position 6, Cox.
All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 23 CR 0004990. You're charged with DUI, less safe, failure to have your license on person, and knowingly driving a vehicle on suspended, canceled, or revoked registration with the offense date of the 24th of January. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am, I do understand all right.
All right, we'll go straight to Mr. Rogers. This is the first arrest.
Yes, Your Honor. On January the 24th of 2023, officers were patrolling in the area of 3390 Peachtree Road Northeast. They noticed Mr. Cox driving a BMW, I believe.
That's wrong.
They noticed Mr. Cox driving a vehicle and that the vehicle's suspended, had a suspended registration. They then executed a stop of the vehicle They asked Mr. Cox, did he have license? He did state that his license were suspended also. And they asked him, had he been drinking? He said he had a Long Island iced tea. They asked him how long ago did he have the Long Island iced tea? He said about 30 minutes ago. That's where he left the place where he was drinking from. He was asked to exit the vehicle, and he was asked will he perform a field sobriety test. He stated no. He was then placed into custody. He was then, the officers observed that he could not stand up on his own to walk to the rear of the patrol car. They did ask him to perform a breathalyzer test, and he refused that also. The state is asking for a $2,500 surety bond, $1,500 for the DUI, and $500 for the suspended registration, and $500 for the driving without license. That's all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Trejo?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So my client had several charges already attached to this case that were dismissed. Regarding the ones that are still pending, Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond given a couple of different factors. My client has no prior history. This is the first time he's ever gotten in trouble. Beyond that, Your Honor, just looking at the facts of the case, given that it was a situation where my client was pulled over based on running the tag rather than him being impaired while driving, right? Anything else like that. We think the circumstances are such that he should be able to be out with a signature bond and under supervision rather than have to pay to be released.
All right, thank you. At this time, the defendant's going to receive a $3,500 split bond. It'll be a $1,500 surety bond on the DUI, a $1,000 signature through the jail for the failure to have the license, and a $1,000 signature through the jail for the canceled registration. Moreover, he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position 5, Coleman.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 0004988. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree with the offense date of January the 23rd. Do you understand you're right?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Second arrest, 2014 DUI suspended license, 2 counts of obstruction and misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Those were dismissed.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rogers?
Yes, Your Honor. The facts are complaining victim Ebony Williams, who is the wife of Mr. Coleman, reported to police officers that a domestic violence incident occurred on Cascade Palmetto Highway. The events that occurred were Mr. Coleman, Miss Williams, and their 2 minor children went to the movies. On their return from the movies, a verbal dispute erupted, and Mr. Coleman was driving the vehicle. Mr. Coleman proceeded to pull the vehicle to the side of the road. He then began to hit Miss Williams, punch Miss Williams. He then pulled Miss Williams into the woods and continued the assault. He hit her, bit her, and choked her. Miss Williams was able to escape and get back to the car eventually, and she drove off and left Mr. Coleman there. Miss Williams has stated that they are married, but they are separated. They do not live together. They share 2 children, but she is on her way to get a temporary protective order for her and the 2 children. This is not the first time that he attacked her, but this was one of those times she felt that she needed to report it. She said as a result of the attack, she had to get a CT scan, a CAT scan, and she had several lumps on her head and scrapes throughout her body. For that reason, Your Honor, we are requesting an $8,000 surety bond, $6,000 for the battery, family violence, and $1,000 surety bond for each of the 2 counts of the cruelty to children. We also are requesting a stay away order from Ms. Williams' address of 6954 Chilcat Court Southwest. No further contact with Ms. Williams or either the two minor children, A. Williams or A. Coleman. And 1 day anger awareness, and also a mental health evaluation.
All right, thank you. I'm going to sound for Ms. Williams at this time. If she is present on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement. All right, hearing none, Mr. Trejo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. She's here in our gallery.
Okay, if she'd like to make a statement, it's her chance to do so.
She's here, Judge.
All right, Ms. Williams, if you'd like to make a statement, please raise your right hand.
My name is Marcia Coleman.
Okay, all right, Ms. Coleman. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes,
Before she speaks, the alleged victim, Mr. Rogers, was Ms. Coleman and not Ms. Ebony Williams?
No, the alleged victim is Miss Ebony Williams, Ebonee.
Okay, ma'am, are you the alleged victim in this case?
no, I'm his mother,
I
but
believe that's his mother, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, I'm not gonna hear from you at this time. I was believing that you were the victim in this case, but you're free to continue to watch, all right? Thank you.
Can I say one thing? They live with me, so I know their history. Both of them hit, she hits too. Both of them hit. That's why I had her, she lived around the corner from me. So I told her to go over with her mother. She hit, but she's known to hit too. Both of them hit.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Your Honor. So we would ask that that the court take into consideration the fact that that my client's only prior criminal history is a DUI almost 10 years ago at this time. That my client's lived in Atlanta for the majority of his life. He's gainfully employed, works full-time in Atlanta, and he is staying with his mother. We would ask that if the court is to grant my client bond, that it would be a no further violent contact rather than just no contact. Even though the pair are not currently living under the same roof, we would ask the court to consider the fact that they do have 3 minor children together.
All right, thank you. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $5,000 surety bond, $4,000 on the battery, family violence, and $500 on each of the cruelty charges. He's to have no contact with Ms. Williams or the 2 minor children involved in this case. Of course, he will be reset to the state all-purpose calendar, whereby contact can be revisited at that time. He is also to have to stay away from Ms. Williams' address on Chilcat Court and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further? All right,
Yeah.
best of luck to you, Mr. Coleman. Who do we have next?
Position 8 has a private attorney,
All right.
Mr. Dykes.
All right, Mr. Dykes, your case is 23 CR 0000500F. You're charged with making an illegal stop where parking was prohibited, willful obstruction, and failure to have the license on your person with the offense date of January the 24th. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Can I have that history, please?
7 total. Last arrest was in October. Suspended license and window tint violation. 2020 sale of marijuana. Suspended license. Those were dismissed. 2015 suspended license dismissed. 2014 battery dismissed. 2014 window tint. And he had 1 cycle out of South Carolina that was dismissed.
Okay,
Drug
Thank you.
possession.
that's good. Thank you. Mr. Rogers?
Yes, Your Honor. The facts are on January 24th of 2023, officer was patrolling the area of 1574 Piedmont Avenue Northwest. He noticed a BMW illegally parked in a no parking zone with a no parking sign visible. The driver of that vehicle was Mr. Tadarius Dykes. The officer stated that Mr. Dykes then drove the vehicle into the Smoothie King parking lot and stated that he would just stop there to get his food from the restaurant. The officer said once he tried to detain Mr. Dykes, Mr. Dykes did indeed resist arrest and try to run away from the officer. And additionally, he did not have his driver's license on his person. The state is requesting a $3,000 signature bond, $1,000 signature bond for each of the 3 charges through a jail. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Who represents this defendant?
I do, Your Honor. Anastasios Metis on behalf of Mr. Tadarius Dykes.
All right, Ms. Menendez, I'm assuming you don't object to the signature bond, which the court is inclined to grant.
No objection, Your Honor. And is there any kind of pretrial supervision conditions with that?
No, I was planning to send it through the jail.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was going to ask for, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Dykes, you're going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, $1,000 on each count. And moreover, as a condition, you are to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. All right?
Ma'am.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Dykes. That concludes your bond hearing at this time.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a great
All right,
afternoon.
thanks. You too. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Position 3, Brooks.
All right, good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 0000496J. You're charged with simple battery with the offense date of March 26th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, this is the first arrest, so we'll go to Mr. Rogers.
Yes, Your Honor. The facts are on January the 22nd of 2023 at the location of 502 Lynn Haven Drive, Southwest. Mr. Brooks' sister, Sade Brooks, the victim, first name Sade, last name Brooks, common spelling. She stated she was in her bedroom laying down when Mr. Brooks passed by her room, and he called her a name and accused her of stealing and eating his marshmallows. She then stated that he became more aggressive and started cussing at her. She stated she tried to close her door, which led to Mr. Brooks kicking her door open, which caused a large hole in the wall. Mr. Brooks then entered the room and started picking up things off the ground and throwing them at Miss Brooks. She then demanded that he leave her room. However, he did not listen. He continued to throw things at her. And then she got off the bed and she tried to pick up some money on the floor before Mr. Brooks could take the money. And once she did this, he pushed her to the ground and he started punching her in her ribs and abdomen area. They were separated by the mother who was returning home from work. We're requesting a $2,500 surety bond. No further violent contact with that victim.
And the relationship of the victim to the defendant?
His sister.
His sister. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Trejo.
Yes,
I'm
Your
sorry.
Honor.
Before I go to you, Mr. Trejo, what was the alleged victim's name so I can sound for her?
Sade Brooks, Sade, first name, last name Brooks, common spelling.
Okay. I'm sounding for Ms. Brooks at this time. If you would like to make a statement to the court. You are not.
I'm her mother. I'm here.
All right. Is
I
Ms.
was
Brooks
here.
herself there?
Yes.
Does she wish to make a statement?
No.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Trejo, please continue.
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that that Mr. Brooks receive a signature bond. He has no prior criminal history to speak of. He's lived his entire life in Atlanta. He graduated from high school last year and indicated that he's planning on going to college. He currently has a job at CVS and he has another job lined up as an insurance agent selling insurance, which he's already paid for licenses and taken classes to be certified in that and is in the final stages of that. Given the fact that he has no priors, given the fact that given his age and given the nature of the situation that was a fight between siblings, we would ask for a signature bond so he can keep his life on track as he navigates his case.
All right. Mr. Brooks is going to receive a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services per judge. He's to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, last name Brooks. Moreover, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
You want him to have a cosigner? He 18.
Does he require, I'm not inclined to make him have a co-signer. Are you gonna require it, Mr. Howard?
It's up to you.
No, he doesn't have to have a co-signer. He's 18.
What's the amount?
2,500. All right. All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Brooks. That completes your case. Who do we have next?
Position 10, Jones.
So what that mean, babe? He got the signature bond, right?
Please mute yourselves. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. Your case is 23. Your case is 23 CR 000-502A. You're charged with having an expired tag and no insurance with the offense date of January the 23rd. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
He got 8 cycles. He went to court. He went to felony the other day for a CWAC charge. On probation, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. On probation in Clayton County. Federal probation, possession of firearms during the commission. He got no bond for that felony charge. So he also got robbery in his history, 2011, 2021 probation violation, 2011 firearm and armed robbery.
All right, thank you.
Pretty much it.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 23rd, location between Riverdale Road and Global Gateway Boulevard. Officers were on a routine patrol when they observed a black Chevy Malibu at the gas pump at the Chevron gas station. Officers ran the tag through GCIC and it came back showing an expiration as of 12/22 for his tag, and he had no valid insurance. As the vehicle was leaving the gas station, the officers conducted a traffic stop and the driver came to a stop in front of the Cisco Foods located at 2225 Riverdale Road. The officer informed Jones why he was pulling him over and asked to see his ID. Jones could not provide a physical copy, but was able to show his ID from his phone. Officers detained Jones because he was wanted out of Atlanta for a previous case, which was filed on January 23rd. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond. That's $1,000 for each count for the expired tag, as well as the no insurance and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jones is 30 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. He has 13 years old, minor child. He resides together. He has been working as a truck driver, and Your Honor, before that, he worked at Walmart Distribution Center. Your Honor, he's not a flight risk in any way because he has no bond for other charges. So these minor traffic tickets kind of thing should be a signature on bond. I would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
All right, defendant will receive a $4,000 signature bond through the jail for these charges. Is there anything
Now,
further?
Judge,
I'm sorry, 2,000 each charge.
and that's SOB through the jail?
SOB through the jail.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes your case, Mr. Jones. Best of luck to you.
Position 11, Overton.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Overton. Your case is 23 CR 000-504C. You're charged with battery and obstruction with the offense date of January the 24th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
35 total. Last arrest was in October, failed to appear. Got an open case in Clayton County, cruelty in the first. Open case in Fulton, battery DV, cruelty in the third. Battery against a female who is pregnant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he got a 2020 battery DV conviction, second subsequent, and felony obstruction.
I think that's good. Thank
right.
you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 24th. Officers responded to a fight call at 694 Delvini Street Northwest, and they met with Miss Eugenia Williams. Williams stated that Overton tried to force pills down her throat and told her to commit suicide. Officers observed marks on Williams' chest and a bruise near her collarbone. When officers attempted to speak with Overton to get his side of the story, Overton refused to give the officers his name. The officers observed that Overton was agitated and smelled of alcohol. When the officers told Overton to turn around so they could detain him, Overton tensed up. At this point, the officers pointed their tasers and asked Overton to get on the ground several times, to which he refused. Overton then took off running, and both officers deployed their tasers. Officers ran after and were able to detain Overton on North Avenue, where they again gave him commands to put his hands behind his back. And Overton still refused and had his hands tucked under his stomach, appearing to reach for something in his waistline. At this time, Officer Eugene dry stunned the suspect, and then Overton finally complied, and the officers were able to handcuff him. We were able to speak with the victim this morning. She states she barely knows the defendant, and the defendant is homeless, and she was trying to help him out by feeding him and allowing him to take a shower at her residence. Victim stated that the defendant pinned her down on the floor by her neck and was trying to force the pills down her throat, and that she plans to file a TPO today, and she is afraid for her life and does not want the victim to return back to her residence. Because of the severity of this, the state is recommending a total $10,000 surety bond. That's $5,000 for the battery and $2,500 for the other 2 counts of willful obstruction. No further contact, 1 day of anger awareness to stay away from that location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And Your Honor, I do believe that Ms. Williams is on the line along with her stepdaughter, who I believe was a witness to this incident.
I only see 1 count of willful obstruction on this calendar. Are there in fact 2?
I only show 1.
I believe we filed down for 2, but if there's only 1 showing, we'll do a total of $5,000 for the battery and $2,500 for the count of obstruction.
What I don't want is there to be another charge holding him in. So the state, are you sure, Ms. Lewis, that another one wasn't filed down? I just want to make sure. I want to set a bond on all charges.
1 moment, Your Honor. Let me go to my Odyssey.
Okay. In the meantime, Ms. Williams, if you are present on this Zoom conference and wish to make a statement, I'll need to place you under oath. But you don't wish to make a statement. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. McLeod, will you please proceed while we confirm the number of charges?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
My client is 33 years old. He is a native of Atlanta. He tells me that he's a father of 2 minor children. 1 is 7 years old, the other is 2. And he actually has a baby on the way, Your Honor. He works from time to time in construction, he tells me, but doesn't really make a lot of money. I would ask the court to take that in consideration in setting his bond. He did tell me that the alleged victim is someone that he has known for 20 plus years because they are relatives. He said that she is a cousin of his. He absolutely denies that he tried to force her to take any pills. He tells me that those were her pills that she was supposed to take, and he was just helping her, but he was not forcing her at all. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, defendant will receive a $5,000 surety bond, $4,000 count 1 and $1,000 count 2. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, last name Williams, and stay away from the address on Davini Street. Additionally, he is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Overton. Who do we have next?
Your Honor,
12, Rice.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, have a great afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Rice. Your case is 23 CR 000505E. In this case, you're charged with reckless conduct with the offense date of the 24th of January. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, driving without a valid license, NOLO, from 2018.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 24th. Officers responded to a shots fired call at 674 Myrtle Street Northeast, where they met with Mr. Rice upon arrival. Rice stated that someone stole his vehicle and stated he was the one shooting at the thief of his car. Rice stated that he stopped to get food and left his vehicle running with the key still inside. The officers spoke with 2 other individuals who were near that intersection, and they stated they heard the shots and tried to back up to get away out of harm's way and ended up hitting each other. Your Honor, for this reason, the state is recommending a $5,000 surety bond and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Mr. Rice is 28 years old, and Your Honor, he has been here in Georgia for more than 10 years. And what scared him, he was actually really scared, and he had a fear for his life because the stolen car that this unknown thief actually took, it had a rifle in a car as well. So I mean, he can use the rifle to attack my client, and my client has a license for the gun, and he works as a photographer for about 6 years. He graduated from high school, and he does have good. I mean, he does not have any other violence history whatsoever. So we would like to recommend, actually ask for signature on bond. He is also recommended for signature on bond as well. Thanks.
All right, defendant will receive a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial services. He's to have absolutely no weapons, including the subject weapon or that rifle, and have no drugs or drugs or alcohol in addition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Rice. Who do we have next?
Position 13, Wilmot.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Wilmot. Your case is 23 CR 0000506G. You're charged with battery family violence with the offense date of May the 21st of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, I do.
All right, first arrest, so we'll go to Ms. Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Wilmot for striking his son. After speaking with the victim's mother this morning, we learned that Wilmot was disciplining his son. The victim went to school and told his friends, who reported it to the teacher, and the teacher reported the incident to DFACS. DFACS came to their home and did an investigation and determined there was no abuse in the home. For this reason, and because it is his first arrest, the state is recommending a $3,000 signature bond, no further violent contact, and 1 day anger awareness. And I do believe Ms. Wilmot is on the line. I'm not sure if she has anything she'd like to state.
Okay. All right. Very quickly, Ms. Wilmot, if you'd like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so.
Yes.
You need to turn on your camera so I can place you under oath. All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
My husband, Ira, and I have been married 16 years. We've been together 20 years. Ira is a dedicated husband and father. We did have to, discipline our son, but I believe that we have other ways of disciplining our children. I understand that the laws have changed, and we understand that. I also believe that the way we raise our children is a direct reflection of how we were raised. So we have resulted to other solutions other than whooping. But Ira is an exceptional father. He is the main source of transportation for our family. He's very loving and giving. And our children's birthday is tomorrow. Both of them are born on the same day, 5 years apart. And we're having a party for our kids this weekend, and they really want their dad home.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Your Honor, we have no objection to signature on bond.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Yes, Your Honor.
Nothing further,
No, no,
please.
Mr.
Mr. Wilmot, you will have another day that you can argue today. Please do not say anything to incriminate you.
Hey, I've already let you out, so let's just, please don't say anything else, okay? All right, take care, Mr. Wilmot. Who do we have next?
Position 1, Avery.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Avery. Your case is 23 CR 0000495E. You're charged with criminal trespass, family violence with the offense date of June the 11th of 2022. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
29 total. Last arrest was in June, Cobb County. Misdemeanor obstruction, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, or felony first offender. It's another June arrest, possession of a firearm during a commission, possession of a controlled substance. 2018 probation, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, conviction from 2019 out of the cab. Failure to appears, 2018. Sale of marijuana, misdemeanor obstruction, conviction, 2016. Ag assault that was dismissed from 2016 out of Cobb County. The rest is drugs and driving.
Okay, that's
Probation.
fine. Thank you. Mr. Rogers?
Yes, Your Honor, the facts are on June the 11th of 2022, officers arrived or responded to 1145 Lucille Avenue Southwest in Atlanta. They were met by Zakia Jones, first name Zakiya, last name Jones, common spelling. She advised that her former boyfriend, Mr. Leonard Avery, came to her apartment, and he called her phone and told her to open the door. She refused to open the door. She was looking out the window, and she did, in fact, observe Mr. Avery trying to gain entry to the home by kicking the front door. She stated that she was holding the door, the locked door, because she was afraid he would get in, come into the home and attack her and her 7-year-old daughter. He was able to kick the door until the frame and locks on the door were damaged, but he did not gain entry into the home. He then left, and when she told him that she was calling 911. We are requesting a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, a stay away order from 1145 Lucille Avenue Southwest, and 1 day anger awareness class, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm sounding for Ms. Zakia Jones, if you'd like to make a statement. All right, Ms. Jones. Hearing none, Mr. Trejo, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would ask for a signature bond for my client. He's 34 years old and has lived in Atlanta his entire life. Regarding the complaining witness in this case, my client has moved out some time ago. He indicated to me that he has nothing to do with her currently, and even expressed interest in filing for a TPO against her. Without getting too much into the facts of the case, some other factors I'd like the court to consider in this matter is that my client is married to a different person and lives at home with his pregnant wife. He's been gainfully employed for the last 8 months and is doing everything he can to put his life back on track. Another thing I would like the court to consider, even though my client does have some history, the last 2 cases that he had in Fulton County, which were from 2022, and then another cycle from 2018, those cases were either dismissed or null-prossed. So given those factors, Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond for my client.
All right, defendant's going to receive a $1,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, last name Jones, and stay away from that address on Lucille Avenue. He is also to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond, and he will be reset to that state or purpose date as previously explained. Is there anything further? Best of luck to you.
You mind if I speak now?
I don't think you should. The best thing for you to do is to speak with your attorney, because anything you say can and will be used against you.
I really ain't worried about that, ma'am, because I'm not guilty at all, and I would like to speak to you, ma'am.
I strongly advise against that, but what would you like to tell me?
I'm really asking you, will you possibly recommend giving me this signature bond. I've been out of work. I work every day. I take care of my family. I got a pregnant wife. She's about to deliver any day now. I go to work. This is all bull crap. If I had a phone, I could show you that this lady contacts me to this day. This is all mishaps. I promise you, lady. This is all bull crap about an angry woman. I didn't do the things that I'm accused of, and I can prove all that if you could let me out. But this $1,500, I would really appreciate. I ain't in no trouble. I ain't on no probation. I've been staying out of trouble for a while. I've been doing good on the right path. I was just asking, would you please recommend and reconsider that you please give me a signature?
I will lower it slightly. It'll be $1,000 surety bond. I will not do the signature bond at this time. All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Avery. All right. Who do we have next?
Position 4, Cherry Howard.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 0000497C. You're charged with willful obstruction and reckless conduct with the offense date of January the 19th. You understand, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Howard.
The second arrest. Last was 2020 misdemeanor possession of marijuana, tampering with evidence. They got 3 holds. FTA for shoplifting out of Dunwoody. FTA for misdemeanor possession of marijuana out of Fayette, and a hold in Clayton County, theft by receiver.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogers.
Yes, Your Honor. On January the 19th, Mr. Howard Cherry is seen on the surveillance video cameras of Thomas I Groups located at 5995 Blairfield Road, Northeast in Sandy Springs. He is observed waving a silver handgun in a threatening manner towards an unknown male who he had just gotten into a physical altercation with. Officers responded to that scene. Officers did view the surveillance camera footage. They did observe Mr. Cherry waving that handgun at that unknown male. He then saw Mr. Cherry. He attempted to place Mr. Cherry under arrest. Mr. Cherry proceeded to run, and he was not apprehended on that date. Officers reviewed city flock cameras, and he was able to observe the car that Mr. Cherry was driving. He saw that car was located at an extended stay in Sandy Springs, located at 6330 Peachtree, Dunwoody Road. He checked the area, and he observed Mr. Cherry coming out the front door trying to hide his face. Officers did recover that silver handgun that Mr. Cherry was waving in that video. The state is requesting a $11,000 good bond, $1,000 for the willful obstruction, and $10,000 for the reckless conduct involving that firearm, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. That's all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 20 years old and has lived in Atlanta his entire life. He went through the 11th grade. He has no other pending charges in Fulton County. And my understanding is that he is working with those other municipalities to resolve those cases expeditiously. If the court is unable to grant a signature bond in this case, we would ask that the court significantly lower the amount of bond that my client would have to be responsible for, given the fact that he is 20 years old and he is not currently working. He indicated that he does have family here. He stays with his mother and his grandmother, and he's still working on getting back on his feet and staying on his feet. So those would be our recommendations to the court.
All right, defendant will receive a $2,500 surety bond, $500 for the obstruction, $2,000 for the reckless conduct. He's to have absolutely no weapons, and furthermore, no drugs or alcohol. And he's stay away from that incident location as well. Is that incident location alleged to be his home or anywhere near his home?
No, Your Honor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
According to the facts we have, he was staying at that extended stay. The officer noticed the car frequenting that extended stay, so I don't know if he's still
If he doesn't live there, he needs to stay away from that location. And Mr. Trejo, you're saying that's not his address?
No, Your Honor. My understanding is that he's staying with his mother and his grandmother.
All right, so he's to stay away from that address as well. All right, best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your bond hearing at this time.
Position 7, Cruz.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Cruz. Your case is 23 CR 0000503G. You're charged with battery family violence in this case with the offense date of January the 22nd. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, as this is his first, we'll go straight to Mr. Rogers.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 22nd of 2023, the victim, police were called out to 3240 Dotson Drive Connector in East Point. Upon arrival, they made contact with Joypora Asadi, first name spelled Joypora, last name Asadi. She advised that her boyfriend, Mr. Jeffrey Cruz, had hit her in the left ear, which had caused her piercing to bleed in that ear. She advised that she had taken Mr. Cruz's vehicle and went to the grocery store. When she returned, Mr. Cruz asked her why she had not been answering the phone. He proceeded to come downstairs and punch her in the face, causing her ear to bleed. The state is requesting a $3,500 surety bond, no further violent contact with that victim, 1 day anger management, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
All right, and you said no further violent contact is what the state is requesting?
Yes, the state spoke with the victim, and she stated that they had been physically violent with each other in the past, but neither of them had been arrested. She states that she does not believe the defendant will be violent with her again when he is released. She stated she will be on Zoom today if we would sound for her.
I'm going to sound for Mrs. Sadi. Mrs. Sadi, if you're present, we need you to turn on your camera so you can be placed under oath to make a statement here today, if you wish to do so. All right, Mrs. Sadi, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, what would you like to tell the court?
I believe me and him been having arguments, but for the most part, I don't think he would do anything else. For the most part, I feel like he needs to get anger management because he has anger problems for the most part. I feel like the reason he didn't necessarily punch me, he slapped me. So that's something that's wrong. But I don't think he will be abusive with me anymore. That's kind of all I gotta say.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Your Honor. I think, well, first and foremost, Your Honor, my client is 29 years old. He's lived in Atlanta since he was 11 months old. So he's lived here his entire life. He graduated high school in Stone Mountain and has family here. My client has no priors, regardless of what may or may not have happened in the past. The state mentioned that that neither party has ever had an issue with police, which may imply that there may be more of a history here, or that it may not be as one-sided as the facts may indicate at this time. So we would ask the court to consider that. We would ask the court to consider the fact that my client is gainfully employed, the fact that he is living in a stable condition, stable home, that he has no prior history, that the court will grant a signature bond for my client.
All right. Defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond to a pretrial per judge. He's to take the 1 day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. Moreover, he should have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything further? All right. Going back temporarily to position 11, the case of Mr. Overton. Ms. Bridgewater, can you please tell me what it was that I ordered? There is an additional obstruction charge. I wrote down 5,000 surety. Is that what I did?
Yes, ma'am. 4,000 on the first charge on the battery and 1,000 on the willful obstruction.
All right. And on the second charge, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. So that will be a total of 5,000 surety, 1,000 signature for that additional willful obstruction, for a total of a $6,000 split bond.
So they did come up with another willful obstruction?
Yes.
Okay, and that one you say it's going to be a 1,000 through the jail?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who do we have next?
There's, it was through pretrial, correct?
Through the
Um,
jail. I thought you said through the jail.
For Mr. Cruz, position 7.
oh, for Mr. Cruz is going through pretrial, yes.
Position 14, Wilson.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your case is 23 CR 0005007D, and you're charged with theft of service with the offense date of January the 24th. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'm going.
No, please don't say anything yet. Mr. Howard?
12 total. The Georgia history last arrest was in 2019. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana, possession of drug-related objects. 2016 possession of drug-related objects. Got a 2013 arrest out of Florida for DUI. Got history out of South Carolina, 07. Possession of drug paraphernalia and alcohol. 2010 driving under suspicion, reckless driving. 2011 failed to appear. 2012 possession of crack cocaine that was dismissed. 2014 DUI conviction. And October 2022 breach of peace. That was October 9th. October 17th, entering premises after warning. So I guess that's trespass.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
But that's all. And he a resident of South Carolina.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 24th. Officers were dispatched to 656 Pryor Street, which is 656 Sports Bar and Grill, for a dispute, and met with Althea Guest, who is the restaurant manager. Guest stated that Wilson ordered 6 drinks totaling approximately $75. When it was time to pay, Wilson provided a debit card, which declined. Wilson then requested to use a cell phone and also the business phone to contact someone to help him pay his tab, but was unsuccessful. The officer then asked Wilson if he had any other way to pay, and the officer stated to Wilson that if he could not pay, he would have to arrest him. And Wilson stated, "Take me to jail." Your Honor, there's currently a $1,000 surety bond for this case, but the state is actually going to recommend a $1,000 signature bond and to stay away from 656 Sports Bar and Grill. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Kim, I'm assuming you have no objection to that signature bond, which the court is inclined to grant.
No, ma'am.
You're muted, Ms.
Yes,
Kim.
Your Honor, through jail. I just want to clarify that part.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. He is to stay away from that sports bar on Pryor Street and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything further?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Quick announcement, Judge, for position 2, it's going to be a medical reset,
Okay.
and we're completed here in courtroom 2, Judge.
All right, take care. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. You do the same.
Ms. Bridgewater, will you review the calendar for me?
It will be my pleasure. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be February the 7th. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 2 is being medically reset till tomorrow. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,500 total good bond. Position 5 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 total good bond. Position 6 is being reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,500 total split bond. Position 7, I'll come back to that one in just a minute. Position,
5,000 pretrial per judge.
okay, thank you. Okay, position 8 is reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 total split bond. Position 10 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. Position 11 is going to the SAP calendar. We added another willful obstruction, and it has a total split bond of $6,000. Position 12 is reset further notice with a $10,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 13 is reset further notice, with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 14 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. And position 15 is reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
What you say about number 9?
Number 9, let me go back. It is a $2,000 total split bond.
Oh, I had
500, huh?
I had 1,500. And number 2, number 1.
Let me make sure I have it right. I have 500 on the following 2 close and 1,500 on the SOB through the jail. Is that what everybody else have?
That's what I have.
Okay, so it's a total $2,000 split bond, and it's going to the SAP calendar.
What you have for number 1?
Number 1 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond.
What about number 6?
Number 6, let me get to it. I have it as going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,500 split bond. That's $1,500 good bond on the DUI, and on the failure to have license and the knowingly driving, $1,000 each, SOB through the jail.
All right, thank you.
Any others? Going once, twice.
All right.
Okay.
Hearing none, we're in recess until tomorrow's SCA calendar. Everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.